Hello everyone, let's talk about XRP. But real quick, I've got to address something because my inbox has been blowing up with this question. You guys are asking, okay, cool, you're holding XRP, but what's the deal with your other bags? What about Hedera? What about Stellar? Are you dumping those? Here's where I stand. If I'm holding a crypto that has the potential to plug into ISO messaging systems, I'm not touching it. Period. Why? Because I think we're literally standing at the doorstep of institutional adoption right now. And when that door swings open, passive income is coming for everyone who stayed in the game. So honestly, selling doesn't even make sense to me unless we see prices shoot into some ridiculous territory. Like if things go completely parabolic, yeah, maybe I'll trim a little off the top, but at current prices, come on, XRP is trading way below its real value. Q&T is sitting there massively underpriced. Hedera, same exact situation. Pick any utility-focused crypto and you'll see the same pattern. They're all undervalued right now. I'm convinced we're about to unlock passive income opportunities that come with basically zero risk. But hey, listen, if you need to take some profits off the table, go for it. Take some gains during this bull run. It'll actually help you keep your cool and hold strong when we're waiting for those massive price levels to finally show up. This comes from Cyprus, September 2025. Institutions are not preparing to sell their crypto. They're preparing to earn yield on it. All right, so check this out. Institutions are already eyeing those juicy yields. And here's something I keep hammering home. Start thinking like these big institutional players. They're not storming into crypto, filling their bags to the brim just so they can panic sell the moment we see some green candles. That's not their game plan at all. What's really happening here? They're making their crypto work overtime for them, earning passive income, generating yield, and most importantly, locking everything up for the long haul. We're not talking months here, folks. Think 5 years minimum, probably 10. Heck, some are planning 20-year holds. So when these giants aren't scrambling for the exit, maybe that's your signal too, right? This is the week we find out if the SEC, despite the government shutdown, will press the approval button. XRP ETFs are ready to go. Look, part of me really wants to believe that's happening this week, but if I'm being straight with you, I just don't see it playing out that way. My prediction is this whole thing sits in limbo until the government flips the lights back on, and then suddenly everything accelerates like crazy. Although, and hear me out, what if they're actually wheeling and dealing some major stuff right now while the shutdown has everyone distracted? Sometimes the best moves happen when nobody's watching, you know? Now, Brian Armstrong threw this out there. A common misconception is that crypto is too expensive for new people. You don't need to buy a full Bitcoin or E to get started. You can start buying and holding crypto with a few dollars. And Dom from EZA claps back with, actually, Bitcoin and ETH are too expensive for most people. This is why we focus on the ALT so much. Here's the shift that's happening right under our noses. People are completely skipping over Bitcoin and Ethereum at this point. And look, here's where I stand on this. If owning a full coin isn't realistic for you in this market, why park your money there at all? That's just how I view the game. You're chasing life-changing returns. You want the kind of gains that actually move the needle. XRP is delivering those absolutely wild multipliers you're looking for. XRP showing early signs of capital rotation. It's only a matter of time. XRP and Solana are showing early signs of capital rotation as option traders increasingly bet on a rebound in select altcoins while Bitcoin and Ethereum consolidate. At the time of writing, XRP trades at $2.40 and Solana at $191, both outperforming their larger counterparts. This isn't slowing down, not even a little bit. We're literally about to witness Solana and XRP completely smoke Bitcoin and Ethereum in terms of gains. And honestly, the reasoning is ridiculously simple. When people look at a coin and realize they can't own a complete one, they just bounce. They're out. I mean, picture yourself grinding away, depositing money every week into Bitcoin just to collect these little crumbs of a single coin. Look, that's genuinely the most backwards approach to crypto investing you could take. Real talk, if you're serious about actually printing money in this market, You need to hold a meaningful stack of these coins. Scoop up whatever your wallet allows and then literally just chill and let time work its magic. Institutions target allocations of up to 2 to 2.5% to each digital asset category. Now, State Street says they're already at 7% overall, aiming for 16% by 2028. Digital assets are no longer alternative. ... All right, so peep these numbers real quick. Digital tokenization of real-world private assets, 2.5%. Digital cash, including stablecoins, 2.3%. Digital tokenization of real-world public assets, existing financial instruments like funds, 2.2%. Bitcoin and ETH, both 2.2%. Other crypto assets, smaller crypto meme coins and NFTs, 2.1%. Other liquid cryptocurrencies and liquid tokens, 2%. Here's what kills me. Everyone keeps giving Bitcoin and ETH this legendary first mover advantage pass. That's the sole reason they're commanding these prices right now. But strip away all that legacy hype and level the battlefield, and XRP is going to run circles around both of them. That's precisely why somewhere down the line, we're definitely going to see XRP steal that top spot. 3 million XRP hack shows 95% of recovery firms may be predators. So check this out. While law enforcement often struggles to respond swiftly, Zach XPT says a recovery economy has emerged to exploit victims' desperation. Another lesson is 95% of recovery companies are predatory and charge large amounts for basic reports with few actionable insights. Many such firms, he added, rely on SEO and social media targeting to lure victims. They often provide only superficial blockchain reports are telling clients to contact the exchange. So picture this nightmare scenario. You just got wiped out, lost all your crypto, and you're panicking. Then you stumble onto one of these so-called recovery firms. They hit you with some huge fee, take your money, and what do they actually do for you? They literally just tell you to contact law enforcement or reach out to the exchange yourself. That's it. You paid them to tell you something you could have figured out in 5 seconds on Google. It's absolutely insane how they're preying on people at their most vulnerable moment. Look, this is predatory behavior, and these people are literally making things 10 times worse. So they're all talking about some poor guy who just watched $3 million in XRP disappear. $3 million. And then James Rule comes out and says, 99.9999% of crypto theft is user error. And honestly, he's not wrong. I completely agree with him. Everyone loves to trash the wallets, point fingers at the platforms, blame literally anything they can think of. But then what happens? You peel back the layers and boom, turns out it was human error the whole time. So Phil Kwok from EZA actually breaks down something super confusing that trips people up constantly. He explains, one of the most confusing things about setting up a new wallet is it will ask you if you want to import an existing seed phrase. This is confusing because it sounds like you should put your existing seed into it. If that new wallet is a hot wallet, you definitely don't want to do that. Just create a new seed phrase for that hot wallet. Never mix your cold seed phrase into your hot wallet. If you do that, simply also having your seed phrase in a cold wallet will do nothing to protect you. ... You need to understand hot versus cold wallets, like actually understand them. Here's what I do personally. I grab my crypto from the exchange and bam, straight into cold storage. No delays, no hesitation. I refuse to keep anything sitting online. Okay, this is literally the most critical thing you've got to wrap your head around. I hear people say this all the time. Oh, I just store my crypto right where I bought it on the exchanges. That's a recipe for disaster because listen, not your keys, not your crypto. But wait, there's more. So many people also leave their devices permanently connected to the internet around the clock. That's basically an open invitation to easily lose your crypto. Self-custody isn't optional, it's survival in this ecosystem. Control over your assets is everything. If you're not protecting your XRP, you're leaving your future in someone else's hands. That's straight from Black Swan Capital, and let me tell you, I couldn't agree more with that statement. Cold storage should be your default. Getting your crypto off the exchanges should be automatic. Here's the reality. We have absolutely no visibility into what's actually going down at these exchanges behind closed doors. Just picture this. XRP suddenly rockets to some absolutely wild price levels. You really think the liquidity is just going to be chilling there on the exchanges ready for you to cash out at whatever price points you want? When things start pumping up, you're literally going to witness exchanges crashing one after the other in real time. And what'll they say? Oh, it's just congestion problems. So here's what's going to happen. They'll pop up and say, sorry folks, we're having some technical difficulties. But let me tell you what that actually means. They're blocking you from selling your crypto. And guess what? You don't even need them for any of this. You can hook your wallet directly into the XRP ledger. You can flip your XRP into a stable coin all by yourself. True, XRP is deflationary and no more will ever be created, pundit. XRP holders, it's becoming exponential. Supply will vanish. But here's the part I really need you to pay attention to in this article. They're diving into the question, can XRP flip Bitcoin? The notion that XRP could surpass Bitcoin's market cap in the near future is an ambitious forecast as of October 2025. Bitcoin remains the world's dominant digital asset, supported by deep liquidity, institutional recognition, and a well-defined scarcity model. However, XRP's advantage lies in utility-driven value, not store-of-value narratives. If trillions in annual payments begin routing through the XRP ledger, an XRP becomes indispensable to that process. A revaluation could occur over time. Pair that with the upcoming catalyst like the Clarity Act, potential XRP ETFs, and clearer US regulation, and the foundation for exponential growth becomes more credible. So I keep bringing this up because it matters. The Clarity Act is seriously going to shake things up for cryptocurrencies that actually do something useful. And listen, once those XRP ETFs start trading, I'm calling it right now, we're going to watch money pour into the space like crazy. Want to know something interesting? They were already aware that flood of capital was inevitable. They had it figured out before they even submitted those ETF applications. Anyway, the post really captures how XRP believers are increasingly confident that Ripple acquiring G Treasury might just be the breakthrough moment for how the world moves money around. Don't forget this crucial detail. XRP has legitimately delivered results in the payments world, and if users could tap into the token for its intended purpose, that builds genuine worth into it. Now let's talk about Bitcoin real quick. You can't practically transact with it, can you? And that whole digital gold argument, completely falling to pieces. Seriously, watch what happens whenever there's even the tiniest global hiccup. Bitcoin crashes hard. That's not giving me confidence in its value preservation abilities whatsoever. So I've got a genuine question for everyone. Who's legitimately building on the XRP ledger these days? Bill Morgan says you could start with 2,025 real-world asset holders and 32,470 stablecoin holders, and maybe do some research on the rest of the XRP ledger ecosystem. The whole infrastructure surrounding the XRP ledger is remarkably diverse and balanced. It's constantly developing and expanding into new territory. But absolutely none of that underlying strength has translated into XRP's price action yet. That shift is still ahead of us. XRP healthcare is on the horizon and it's still being built out, still moving forward. Then you've got the DNA protocol, which could end up being a completely different path instead of some government-controlled digital ID. This might actually be the alternative we've been looking for, and that could make it massively successful moving into the future. Now look at gaming and all the other developments going on. The XRP ledger isn't dying off. It's growing in real time, right before our eyes. The US government's crypto holdings are now worth over $35 billion. Bullish. I'm going to be honest with you, I don't see that as bullish whatsoever. For starters, they're not even holding a single XRP. And XRP could legitimately strengthen the US dollar by zipping it around the planet in seconds for less than a penny. But here's where it gets interesting. Imagine what happens when a new president takes office. Yeah, Trump's out here saying we won't sell any of this crypto. But the next person in that chair, they could liquidate everything. Nobody knows what's going to unfold down the line. On top of that, they won't tolerate competition against the digital dollar. They're going to want that digital dollar on top. Okay, so here's what they're doing. They want this adopted by literally everyone on the planet. No alternatives, no backup plans, just the digital dollar, period. and Bitcoin's been sitting there as the alternative this whole time. Ever wonder why the ECB keeps hammering home that Bitcoin has no place in the future? Because they're planning to make it completely irrelevant. Now, the government hoarding billions in crypto, yeah, that doesn't get me excited. And look, if you're a true Bitcoin maxi, I'm talking about the original crew from years back, those guys would be screaming at the government to sell that crypto off. But these new Bitcoin maxis, they're out here wanting a government rescue package. Two totally different vibes. But we're XRP holders, right? We've already figured this out. XRP is what's coming. The government absolutely needs XRP to push value across borders. Whether they're moving the traditional dollar or the digital version, it's irrelevant. That bridge currency is essential. So while we wait for this to unfold, keep your patience, keep your energy positive. All right, I'm closing this one out. Appreciate you all tuning in. I'll catch you in the next video. Hope you have an incredible night.